of ex-Illinois Governor Ron Blagojevich, who was convicted of trying to sell former President Obama's Senate seat that had been vacated when he won the presidency in Illinois. And then he also announced that he has pardoned former NYC Police Chief Bernie Kerik. Now, Kerik has already responded on Twitter thanking the president, saying that, quote, "There are no words to express my appreciation and gratitude to President Trump." But of course, the president was also asked by reporters about some other big names that could potentially get pardons. Roger Stone, who we're talking a lot about today as we're learning more about his sentencing process. The president saying he's not thought about that yet because the process is still happening and it's still getting worked out. He also said the same thing about Paul Manafort and Michael Flynn. Bob, Emma?
Okay, well, I guess it begs the question, why now? Because we know that there's been some criticism of the president interfering with, or being perceived as interfering with the process at the DOJ. So what's the insight you're getting from inside the Beltway?
Sure. Yeah, it is interesting timing considering that ABC interview last week with Attorney General William Barr, in which he said that the president's tweeting is making his job a little bit harder when the president tweets about something that the president had been talking about and thinking about for a long time. They've been working it out. And if you'll recall, Bob, the president, I think it was last year, we were trying to find exactly when he had mentioned this. The president had mentioned that he had been considering a possible pardon for Ron Blagojevich a while ago when he was talking about other pardons. So we knew this was a possibility. The White House isn't providing any other insight into the timing on this other than that. Bob?
You know, as I recall, and I'm trying to do some research here as we're talking, maybe you know better than I do, but isn't Blagojevich the only one that's actually still serving time right now?
Yeah, that's correct. Bernie Kerik was convicted of tax fraud several years ago. The issue, though, is once that you're a felon, you have issues with bank loans, voting. And so by the president pardoning Kerik, someone like Kerik, who's not currently, serving time, it makes their life just a little bit easier, clears their name, and lets them go about being a regular American citizen. So that's the benefit of that, whether you're in prison or not.
Yeah, and I don't know if DeBartolo has any interest in going back into the NFL, but maybe that clears up that as a path because he wasn't allowed in the NFL.